We're going to share the correct screen. Okay, tell me if it comes up at your end.
Yeah, it looks, yes, it is.
Okay.
So, well, tonight, as Linnea say, I will talk, well, a little bit about my life because it's been a long journey, but I was able to put something tonight in here. Next slide, please. I was born in a adobe house that only had two rooms, and that was built by my dad. And so also my dad was the doctor who received me to this world, because that was in the village there were no doctors, there were not barbers, there were not Santa Claus, and nothing in that little village of only 13 houses. Next. And this is the village of El Chical. El Chical is central Guatemala. That is a really hot place. It's the hottest places in Central America. It goes to 115, 120 degrees. And so it's still the 13 houses in there, except that now the mule trails now they're transit by trucks, but it's still the 13 houses in there. Next. And that was a place where I was really happy, because I grew up with Mama Fina, my grandma. Since I was a baby, my dad loaned me to Mama Fina, because she was a widow. She was living by herself, but she lives very close to my house. And so I grew up thinking that Mama Fina was my mom. And so we went to the river. I don't have any picture when I was a little kid. So this is for my bilingual book that I pulled these drawings. And so we went to the river. The Motagua River is the largest river in Guatemala. And the river crossed the village. So we went to have lunches in there in that river with Mama Fina. But since I was a kid, I loved to go and climb trees and I look at the nest, because I saw that the bird have a different kind of nest and a different color eggs. And Mama Fina always say that just get down in there, because don't bother the birds, or you're gonna break your neck in there. What you are looking, all the eggs are the same. And so I say, no, Mama Fina, no, all the eggs are the same. They are different colors, different shapes, different sizes. So since I was a little, I really was into the birds, into the nature. So even that was very poor in there, I was very happy in that paradise that it was for me. But overnight, my dad decided to change this paradise. Next, please. Next slide.
No, hold on. There we go.
For this, because he moved the family overnight to Guatemala City, and this is the barrio where I grew up. And so my dad, he never went to school, but he was the only one who knew how to read and write at the village. Mama Fina, she didn't know how to write or read, but they both believe in education. And my dad always say that education is the one that is going to take you out of poverty, and so you have to keep in school. The first thing he did, and there was to put me in the school. And so but we were so poor, and so we didn't have enough to eat. And so I have a cousin in the city already that he was a shoeshine boy, and he told me that he make money cleaning shoes. So I asked my dad to build me a house, to build me a box to go and clean shoes. My dad didn't want it because I was 8 years old. And so, but finally I convinced him, and as Linnea knows, and so my dad told me that I was a mule, And so when I want something, and I just go on and on and on until he got tired. And so, and he built me a box to clean shoes. And go next, please. So at the 8 years old, I was in the streets of Guatemala as you see these kids. That was, looks like it was me. And unfortunately, this is still happening in Guatemala because the lack of opportunities in there, the lack of education. So in the morning, I went to school. In the afternoon, I went to do the shoeshine and then there's the streets of Guatemala. At night or very early in the morning, I did my homework, but I keep in school. I keep going to school. And when I went to the streets of Guatemala, I asked for leftovers to take to my siblings. And sometimes they didn't give me enough. So next. So I didn't have enough to myself. So I went to the trash dump in a market in there, in Mercado La Parroquia in Zone 6 in Guatemala, where I look for some food in the trash dump. And so many times the dogs, and they also went to the trash dump to look for food. And I had to fight the dogs for a piece of food. And so luckily the dogs were skinny like I was. So I won. I don't know where the dogs are. I am here talking, but the poor dogs, I don't know. But I have a smile on me. Even this also, there are pictures from my book. And so I always have a smile because I found out that that was, with a smile, that was better day. So I graduate from 6th grade schooling. And next. And I find a job in a newspaper. I make books in the newspaper. I start as the janitor in the newspaper. And so here I am in the left, in black and white. And so that guy with the big head in there. But Guatemala has 36 years of civil war. And so because all the problems in Guatemala and all the dead people in Guatemala, so I decide to come to United States. Also, I get married very young. And I didn't want my little girl, my daughter, to grow up in Guatemala because the situation in Guatemala. Plus, friends, they lied to me. They told me that in United States, that was very easy. And so because they sent pictures when they were next to a nice house, next to a car, but that didn't belong to them. And so they are just showing off and to see that they were successful. So, and I say, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I had to cross Mexico because I couldn't get any visa. So I crossed Mexico, and so I am in prison in Mexico because I didn't have immigration paper, but I made it. I was 21 years old when I came. I arrived in here, next. I arrived in here only with a 6th grade of schooling. I didn't speak English. I didn't have immigration papers. I didn't have relatives in here. So I did all kind of works. I clean houses, I put roofs, I wash dishes, I am being a Greek chef. So I work as a gardener. I started in Blythe Wildlife Foundation, that I was another foundation that I work with birds, where the founder of the Western Foundation was the vice president in there, belonged to the board. So I met Ed Harrison in that place. So, but this person, Donald Blythe, he died. We have thousands of orchids in there and butterflies. And so he died and left everything to the Western Foundation. And I met Ed Harrison in there. And then Ed Harrison, please, next. Ed Harrison decide to, this is the museum, the Western Foundation. Next, please. And Ed Harrison decided to hire me to work in the garden, and also to do some things and clean in there in the Western Foundation. I call him my gringo dad, because he was like my dad. When I was really giving up, when I was really thinking that, man, this country is really not what they told me, and I want to go back to Guatemala, even with the Civil War, because in here, um, as I was poor in here too. I couldn't make it. I didn't have a car. I live in an apartment and by the MacArthur Park, and I live in a hotel and full of roaches and prostitutes and drugs and all of that stuff in there. But then I met Ed Harrison, and when I was working in there in the garden, and they give me 30 minutes to eat lunch, and then I asked him, "Hey, can I have your permission to go inside the building and see what is the biologist doing?" And he said, "Sure." So I ate very quick. I ate in 5 minutes. Remember, I had to fight with the dogs for food, so I have experience in that. I ate very quick. And Linnea know that I still eating very quick, and just in case. And so I had 25 minutes to go in, and I saw what they were doing. They were blowing eggs, and somebody translate to me because I didn't speak English. They were blowing eggs. They were preparing birds, like a taxidermy. They were star skins, and they were talking about conservation, talking about the trips they were doing to South America and Central America. And so what was the job of biologists? And I really love it. I love that. And so, because when I was a kid, I was in that Motagua River, in that little village. I think I was looking for that connection with nature, and I found it in the Western Foundation. And so it was a light at the end of the tunnel, I think, because I knew that that's what is what I want. And so, that was my second migration already, because my first migration was to Guatemala City. This is the second one, but I found that connection with nature in there. And I asked Ed what I had to do to be a biologist. Ed said, well, I say, I don't have a car, I don't speak English, I don't have immigration papers. And so he said, learn English first and then take regular classes. And he said, take the bus after here. And so then take regular class. After you learn English, you take regular classes, go to college. And I did that. So I took 2 buses, and at some time I show up at home at midnight. I already have my wife and my little girl in here. And so I did it. And so next, please. So I was lucky that in that time, the amnesty came, and so they gave me the immigration papers. So they start sending me to South America with another guy. So I went to the Amazons with a helicopter, dropped us in there. And so we have to go there working, and they're walking on horses, in a boat, and however we can. And so we stayed 3 months in there, and we have food for a week. And so the rest survive in the jungle. And so, and we did it. We were two Latino guys in the 20s. So at that age, you don't die. And so who is more macho? And so we were just gone in there. So that was a really good experience. Next. So after the working in the Amazon, and we moved to Costa Rica, another project in Costa Rica. Next, please. Where we were studying a swift, where we went to the swift, and they nest under the waterfalls. So we have to climb the waterfalls, or come from the top, and with ropes, and and put microchips in the nest. And so that's what the species we were studying there in Costa Rica. That was another amazing experience. Was very dangerous. I learned a lot. I don't know why I did it. That was crazy, but I'm so glad I'm still alive. And next. And after learning all of these working in South America and in Costa Rica, I thought, okay, in Guatemala, there was no work for 36 years in birds. So on breeding birds, because the Civil War, nobody wanna work in there. So crazy me, I say, I do it. I can do it. I have the experience, and I can go to all the country and do this breeding work. So after so many years, I came back to my river, to the Rio Motagua. And here, in case you don't see this, the written in here, but that is from a biologist in the 1800s, John Stephens, 1839. And he said, Rio Motagua, we stood up to our necks in water, clear as crystal, while flocks of parrots in the thousand were flying over our heads. So that's what it was when I was there with grandma, with Mama Fina. But coming back 30-something years later, next, this is what I found. Trash, and more trash. It was like a trash dump in there. Next, please. It's amazing. Look, I'm standing up in there with all of this trash. You can find all kind of plastic tires. You'll find a hospital syringes and amazing. One time I found a dollar bill, so that was cool. But then that's what it happened. And so I cry a little bit and in there, and then I said, something has to be done with this thing. And so I will do it. And so I start talking about this when I, next, please. So also they spray without, spraying in there without mask, and their pesticide containers dumping at the river edge. And then Linnea joined the Western Foundation, and so I told her about this, and so Linnea said, I want to go to Guatemala, and so she went in there, and so she said, let's do it. Let's trying to clean the river. So next. So what? And also the forest and there is unique. It's thorn scrub that we have in there. And so when I arrived in there in 2001, it looks like this. A year later, I come back, it was like this. So they burned this for all for the cows to plant grass or to plant corn. So that's what they do. Next, please. So when I told Linnea about all of this, and she said, let's go to do some work in the Motagua River. So what we did is we took some samples of the water. We collect 1 egg per species, and I believe it was 9 or 11 species that we did. We took all the contents of the eggs, and we brought the contents in here. The UC Davis used the make the analysis, and they find in all the species, they find out that all contaminated. All of them have heavy metals, and everything was contaminated. So Linnea gave a talk in there when we got the results, and where many people from the government show up, and other people. We have a really a big full room in there, but nothing happened. And really nothing happened in there. Next. But in the same time, I keep going to school. I was doing that work. I finally learned English, and I went to school, and the dream come true. I graduate, and so that was a great day in my life. And so we keep working with Linnea and the Motagua River. And as I said, nobody listened to us. we were going everywhere, sending messages, and I'm visiting office, and nothing happened. The river keep being contaminated, and nothing. Next, please. Until something happened. One day, we were going with Linnea. I just met her, but we were going to Louisiana for a conference, or ornithologist conference, and our plane was hit by a storm, and the plane was moving, and I thought I will die. I really thought I will die. I thought the plane will crash, and so I start telling Linnea some secrets of my life, something that happened when I was a kid, something that I never thought told my parents. They died, they never knew, or my wife, or my kids, and nobody knew about that part of my life. But because I will die, and there, so I will tell somebody. And Linnea, being a scientist, she started taking notes. And so I told her everything, and I guess what? The plane didn't crash. And she knew already everything. And so I said, you know what? Forget about that. Forget about that. And she said, too bad. I took notes. And so she said, you should write a book. You should write about your life. You should write to see how you survived, how you were successful in this life. But at the beginning, I thought, no way. And then I said, okay, I will do it. And so then it came the book, Illustrator. It looks easy that, and then I published the book. And on another occasion, I will tell you guys what I had to do, because I thought in Guatemala, they will publish, they will fight for the book. But no, nobody want to see the manuscript. And so, but finally the book was published. And then this is what happened. This book is about my life. It's my autobiography. And then this is what happened with this book. Next, please. The government of Guatemala and make the book as a heritage document of Guatemala. And then the Congress of Guatemala, they give me this recognition about the distinguished Guatemalan abroad, because the book was making waves around the world. And so they recognize me in Congress of Guatemala for being a good Guatemala abroad. Next, please. And then the papers start covering the book. Covering what I was doing, that the Guatemalan working in a museum, and this Guatemalan being in the museum that has the largest bird egg collection in the world. And then after all of this, the paper and TV and radio, they were publishing this. That was amazing. I didn't expect all of this, and this got me by surprise. And then just going to Hollywood. And so next, please. So
Wait a sec.
yeah,
I can't
and
see. There you go.
and there, and they going to Hollywood, and they brought me to the red carpet, and that was something that I only saw in the movies. And so, you know, and they're done, and they are photographers and all of that. And they say, yes, I want to take your picture. Just put this size, your good size, and all of this weird thing in Hollywood. But I was there. I was happy that with all of this was happening. I didn't know what was going on, but why not? And so I was there in Hollywood. Next. And my book got to these guys. So when I say went to Hollywood, it went to Hollywood with Harrison Ford, Dustin Hoffman, Adam Sandler, Eugenio Derbez. They have all my books, and I say, "Oh my God, what is going on?" And so this guy having my book, and I said, "Oh wow," and I was so proud. And then they make me a writer of the year in 2015. And then in Guatemala, the Lake Amatitlan. So the Minister of the Environment and give me this recognition for the work I was doing there in Guatemala, for conservation, to cleaning the river, helping with the lake. Next, please. And so recognition from the U.S. Congress, California legislature, and the city of Los Angeles. They give me some recognition in here for being a good citizen, for doing all of this work with education. And next, please. And then something I only saw in the movies also, like the key of the city. I mean, so that was something that, yeah, I wanted once. So, and I had two keys. And so one key of where the Motagua, for the work I was doing in the Motagua River. So the city of Gualanzacapa gave me one. And then Morazan, where I was born, they give me the key of the city. And also in here, and they give me the recognition of Latino leadership. And that was in 2018. Next, please. And last year, remember that I came in here because on the war in Guatemala, the 36 years of war in Guatemala. And when I come back as ambassador of peace. How cool is that? And so when they told me, and so we're gonna give you the ambassador of peace. You're gonna change the white rose of the peace, because this represent where the peace was signed in there from the guerrilla and the government, when finally Guatemala have a democratic elections and the peace was signed, and this is what it represents. I changed on the rose. Next, please. And the same year, then they give me the knighthood of the Quetzal. This is the highest recognition that the government of Guatemala give a citizen. This was amazing, because when I was 10 years old, when I was 9 years old, I was cleaning shoes across the street from the palace. That was the shoeshine boy that was very interesting, that the shoeshine boy that didn't have shoes and clean shoes. I always want to go to the palace because it was across the street. I want to see what was inside of the palace. But the guards in there, they didn't let this little kid with no shoes crossing the street, looking bad for tourists. They didn't let me even cross the street. But I say one day I'm gonna go. One day I'm gonna go in. It took me 50 years, but I crossed the street and I go in. And I got the knighthood of the Quetzal. And I changed the rose of the peace. 50 years. I never give up, but I did it. It wasn't easy, but I made it. Next, please. So with that popularity that I get in Guatemala, the newspaper interviewed me, and I met this candidate for president that we were in an interview together. And I asked this guy, of course, he was the last one of the list of the candidates. And I said, when you are a president, are you gonna help me with the Motagua River? And he said, I promise. And I say, okay, I will take your word for it, because you're on the radio and I have a big mouth. I will remind you that, and you say that. The newspaper start covering this Motagua problem. And so I and Linnea say, you know, you have the chance, just go for it. And I keep doing the interviews, and I keep going to the radio, to television. Next, please. And so more newspaper, the New York Times, and covering the problems of the Motagua. Next, please. I took the television to the river. I have the channel, let's film in the river. Next, please. And then I took schools, I took the community, I took the mayors on there, and to go and clean the river all together. We went there, and the television covered all of this, and the people were seeing that, and we were doing something. And then the new president, that president, I talked to him in the radio, he became a president. And one day I was in my garden and my phone was ringing and I didn't answer because I said, I don't want anybody to bother me. And it rang the second time, and so I didn't answer. The third time I said, all right, I answered. It was the president. And so he said, look, I am with the Minister of the Environment. And so we're in the Motagua River. We are flying right now. And can you, next please? We are flying right now in the river. And so we want to work with you. We what I promised. And so what he did is he put the army to clean the river. He put the army to build bridges in there to go to the river. They put the biofences in there to stop all of this trash. And now the UNESCO is helping. So because what the newspaper published, because this river ends in Honduras, and so Honduras got all of this trash. So the newspapers in Honduras, they saw that we were doing something. The Western Foundation was doing something about the river, and we have the results. So they say, how come that the Guatemala have these biologists, their own biologists, saying that they have all of these results and they don't do anything, and all the trash is coming in here. If you don't do anything, we're gonna sue you in the international court. And so that is what he did it. And so now Guatemala, Honduras, they make a deal. The UNESCO is helping for 5 years, and they build this great machinery in there in the river to stop all of this trash. For Ocean, another company is working in there with boats and is hiring people in there to clean the river. So it's a lot need to be done, a lot, but it's working. It's working, it's moving. People decide, communities decide that it's the only way to unite. So a lot of non-profits for conservation of young people and not too young is start working in all of this. So they just, I believe they need a little push, and they see that it is possible, that I still need to do, but I
Renee, we're losing your video feed just a little bit.
didn't give up.
Whoops. Hold on for just a second.
Something happened. And
Hold on for just a second, Renee. We're gonna have to. You're gonna have to redo your video feed, I think, just a little bit. Let's see if it'll adjust itself. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Okay, let's see if it'll adjust. Okay, can you please just re-say the last sentence that you were saying? You were talking about that you think they just needed a little push.
They need a little push. Everybody needs a little push. And when they saw that I didn't give up, when I saw that this lonely guy was just pushing in there, this crazy guy was pushing in there, and then they saw that, man, the shoeshine boy did it, and we can do it. We can all hold hands and attack this problem. And then these people decide to do it. And then now in Guatemala, all of these groups, as I said, it's a lot of work to be done, but we already started. And so I'm so happy for it that we are doing it. We are having some success. If not, I say I will try. I will see what happens, because I didn't want to die, or I didn't want to be 90 years old and I'm thinking, what will happen if I did this? So now I know what happened. And so I am happy now that I'm very close to 90, but then I will say, hey, I tried. I did my work. And so that's what I said. It worked. It's just try more than once. So next, please.
I think we're losing.
And also the
Renee, we lost you for just a second. Can you start again talking about this this slide?
Yes. Are you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So the places, and there, remember the photo you saw where it was burned, and now these places are conservation areas. So the government put this very important habitat into conservation. More and more land is being put into and in this government conservation area. Next, please. So as I always think, there's hope. Look, and things are coming back. Next, please. Birds are nesting. Can you next, please? Okay. So when I saw all of this, that my book was selling, and then when I remember what my dad said and grandma, that education is the key, and so I decided to start Ilustrador Foundation, the Shoeshine Boy Foundation. So I start that, and so I start giving scholarships with the sales of my books. I was given, I started giving a scholarship to these kids that the parents and themselves, they work in the trash dump in Guatemala City, and Zone 3 in Guatemala. So I start giving them scholarships, celebrating the Day of the Children, Mother's Day, to give them a little hope. Next, please. So what these kids need more than a scholarship was hope, was that somebody who believe in them. And so also we have this volcano eruption in Guatemala, where it make a lot of destruction, a lot of people die. The firefighters, and there they only have one ambulance, and so the two firefighters that were in the ambulance, they die because the fire covered the whole ambulance, and they didn't have any. So I start and here contacting friends, and I say these guys need an ambulance, and so how about if you guys give me a hand? And so yes, everybody said yes, and we were able to buy an ambulance for them. And this is a truck that they convert in ambulance, and so we send them a truck, and we give them food for them, and for everybody there that we brought to the people who were affected, for the firefighters, for the kids. Next, please. So, and also now during the pandemic, and the foundation is sending, Ilustrador Foundation is sending groceries for the people who work in there in the trash dump, and not only groceries, for also food for the clothes for the kids, because families, they live in little houses made of cardboard and whatever they can find in there. And it's raining in Guatemala a lot, and so and these people are losing everything. So we are sending some food, some clothing for them, clothing for the kids. The kids see that, and there is somebody who believe in them. There is somebody who support them. Somebody who doesn't just say it, but they do it. And so, and I don't give it because I have a lot. I give because I was there. I was sitting from the trash. And that's what I tell these kids. I tell this kid that, look, I was there. I know how it feels. And so that's why they believe. And so year after year, I come back and with them. And so kids, what they need is somebody to believe in them, somebody to tell them and say, you can do it, kid. You're a smart kid. And so here's a hand. So that's what I'm doing. What I'm doing with Ilustrador Foundation. Just just put my little piece of sand in there, and I said, like, you guys, as I did it, you can do it too, because I really believe in education, and I think that is the only way we can help Guatemala with education, just and giving this kid an education, and that I think I really believe in it, because by experience I believe in that. Next. And also, I don't only just give I only give the food, but I give a food for thought, and so I give talks in there, and not only to the kids of the trash dump, but all around, and to adults, to kids around Guatemala, around and here in colleges and in schools, and wherever they invite me. I am there giving the talk, giving them my experience, telling them that it's possible. You really want to work for them, but you have to put action in it. And so those are my talk, motivational talks, and wherever I can. And so next, please. Western Foundation have the education programs in California. So, and at the museum, we got really thousands of kids in there a year. And so from different local school, and not so local, we have from Ohio, from Santa Barbara, Camarillo, Oxnard. We have all of these schools in there. And next, please. And this is a group of newcomers. Were those kids who thousands and thousands of kids who came crossing the border without adults, and so they contact us, and so because this kid didn't speak English, and they just crossed the border, and they were in the schools in here in Oxnard, and they said they can go to the museum. And so they were there, and so I told them how that I came like them, but that was an opportunity. It was the country of where the dreams can come true. You work for them, but education was the key, and they have to continue being bilingual. Was one of the best things they can do. They have to learn English, and I keep going, because I told my whole life history in there, and so many of the kids were motivated. Next, that even we got support even with the television Univision. They cover all of those events, and so pushing the kids too, that you can do it. And so we have labs. Next, but not only for kids. We have labs, for example, for the Santa Monica Mountain Youth Group, and they come in there to learn about birds. And we have classes of teaching how to do study for the University of Santa Barbara. And so these groups every year where we teach them. And also the field work. We have several field work projects in the Santa Clara River. And so this is part of my work, and that I do there. So these 3 endangered species that are here, the one that I work the most is with the Lisbeth vireo, where I go there the Santa Clara River to look for the nest. And because this little bird, the Lisbeth vireo, not only have problem with the lack of habitat, the loss of habitat, but also the brown-headed cowbird, the one in the right corner in the bottom, because this guy don't build any nest, and they just lay the eggs, and the little guy nest. And so that's what we have to monitor these birds. But then my colleague and Dr. Hall, she worked with 3 species, with the yellow-billed cuckoo and the willow flycatcher. Sometimes I help with the yellow-billed cuckoo, that we are happy that we think that they are nesting in here again. And so there are some of the projects that we have in the field local in here. Next, this is the Santa Clara River. Oh, so hard to work in there. Yeah, so next, please. When we say collection manager, sometimes we don't know what is it. So I know what is it, but you guys don't know what collection manager is. I'm gonna tell you just some of the tasks of the collection manager. For example, one of the things, and I said before, I work in the field, and so work and take notes, and then bring all that data to share it with Linnea, and so she's the one who make all these reports. And also, and here I had to help other researchers, and I had to provide data for them. I have to send them printouts or what we have or what species they are working, or measurements or wings of birds, or measuring our eggs, or measuring eggs and thickness of eggs. So my work is to do blow eggs, prepare eggs, and prepare skins. And you say, why did this guy is so dressed up to prepare skins? It's because I am preparing, and there I am preparing an elegant turn, so I had to be elegant myself. So no, so I was going to a meeting that day. I was going to Hollywood that day, but I had to prepare that bird, so I did it, and so however I wanted. So I need to do that quick because they just brought it, and that was a roadkill that they brought, and I had to finish before it got bad. And so after I finished that, washed my hand, and I went to Hollywood. Next. And I also another work I do as a collection manager is identify eggs, egg species, or
Oops.
have a lot of eggs that are a piece of paper that I call the egg data, egg card. So I have to, what I'm seeing in the left and the picture on the left, I'm looking at a mark in the egg because they have a set mark, or the collector, they mark the eggs. And I am looking in there too much with the data. And the right, and I'm helping a researcher, and these guys are, they publish a book and a nest, how to identify nests in the field and eggs. And so I am helping them in there because I had to bring the eggs in there. And next. And also, not only if I can say what I had to do, because I give tours also, well, I had to take care of 1 million eggs. I had to be sure that they are in taxonomic order. I had to be sure that they are in good shape. I measure eggs. I measured, it took me 10 years measuring eggs, length, breadth, thickness, and be sure that it's the right species. Be sure that the cabinet don't have any bugs. Be sure that the museum, the collection don't have any bugs. Be sure to help researchers that visit the museum, that they will find the right species and help them measure an egg. We have researchers that they come from Brazil, and they come from Japan, and they come from different parts of the world, and I have to work with them. And sometimes, and it is amazing that we don't know, for example, a friend, Mamoru Suzuki, the first time that he arrived, he only speak Japanese, and I didn't speak Japanese, but we were able to communicate because the species, the bird talk. So you were able to, like Linnea, when I'm trying to say something, she already know when I don't remember, and she said, oh yeah, and that bird. So it's a lot of work, and you have to do as a collection manager, but I believe the most important thing in there is the passion, is the love, is what are you doing, what you love to do. Doesn't matter what you do, but do it with love. When I was a shoeshine boy, I want to be the best shoeshine boy that ever be there. And so when I was a gardener, I want to be the best gardener. I was proud of what I was doing. So I'm proud of what I'm doing at the museum. I'm proud that all of this work and conservation I'm doing, and I'm working in, at the museum. Next. And and then here I finished this and I say hasta la vista, baby. But what I want to say is it was hard. It wasn't easy. When you saw all of those recognitions in there and say, oh yeah, this guy have a lot, but you have no idea what I had to walk to get those. There were tears, there were frustrations, there were dreams that I had to work in it, and one at a time. And sometimes I wasn't sure if I can do it. And many times I fell. But I go up. It wasn't how many times I fell, like how many times I went up again. So, and also believing that if I didn't try, I never knew if I can do it. So if I learned that if I didn't like where I was, I just want to give a step to the front and move from I didn't want to be. That didn't take me where I wanted, but at least took me from wherever I didn't want to be. So it wasn't easy, but I find friends in the way. First, like Ed Harrison and Linnea Hall. He was my gringo father, and she's my gringa sister. And so, and by now, I came in here with 6th grade schooling, not speaking English, and with no immigration papers. And then now I speak English, at least that I believe I am speaking. Also, I am American citizen and Guatemalan citizen. And I am a biologist, and I am the collection manager at the museum. I have 7 grandkids already. And here I am talking with a lot of friends that and a lot of support, because if you were here today, it's because you are one of the supporters. You are the one, the people who believe in the dreams. And so I want to say thank you very much. I really appreciate that you took your time to be here tonight. And I leave it like that. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you, René. Thank you very much. So are you available to take questions still?
Yes, yes, please. And ask a question and see if I can answer.
Okay. Well, we did have a couple of items in the chat here. One from Cliff Shackelford said, thank you for the presentation. Said Craig Rudolph told him about it. He and Craig used to be office mates. So that was pretty nice, by the way, just another connection there. Yes. So I think what we want to do though is we want to see how we can work this out and see if we can actually see if people are raising their hands. So if you want to turn your videos on so we can see you if any of you do have questions. Otherwise, you could also try the reactions. There isn't a question hand in there though. There isn't a hand raised. So it's better if you put your name in the chat that you have a question, I can call on you too. If anybody does. Because otherwise I have a question. Maybe while people are thinking. And I'm still looking to see if anybody else. So René, can you talk about how in particular how it felt for you when you first came to this country and you weren't able to speak English, and really what, you know, how did education make a difference for you specifically? Like, or do you have any stories about that in particular?
Yeah, first, because it was very hard to go to Guatemala City. And when I was adapting to Guatemala City, I had to move over here. And in those times when 1981, when I came in here, it was a lot of discrimination, a lot of blocks in there. And so because first the color of my skin, and the second is because I didn't speak English. And but that's what I decide, as my dad said, to any country where you go and do what they do. So I did what you guys do, learn English. And so I think that was the key, and the first key to open the door to learn the language, because and that really gave me the opportunity. And also to show that I didn't come in here to take anybody's jobs, but to see how I can contribute to this great country. And I did, and this country gave me so much, really gave me so much, that the little thing that happened in the 80s, and when some people discriminate me in that time, when I was receiving only $2 an hour. So the opportunity that I have here overweight all of that. So, but it wasn't easy coming here with no education, with not knowing the language, and with no skills, because I didn't have any skills here, only the newspaper. I work in Guatemala, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but I knew I had to work hard, but that was something that I already did. I survived the streets of Guatemala. So I was thinking, if I survive the streets of Guatemala, why I not survive California? And I did. Here I am.
So what advice would you have for people who are newly immigrated to this country?
The advice is,
who are having some difficulty with language and stuff.
That is the key. The first thing is just to learn the language. That will do. That will do. Learn the language, because if you're bilingual, you can be hired anywhere. And so that is what I say, that bilingual. And it's so many colleges that they give all of this. You don't want to take college, you just take some, how you call it, mechanic or whatever they are teaching in there. But school education is the key that is going to open the door of the dreams by experience. And so, yeah, the newcomers, I said, learn the language. Just learn the language, and that will open a lot of doors. And when you're American citizen, vote. I already did.
There's a lot of thumbs up. Okay, so another question is from Cliff. He said his microphone isn't working. He'd ask you himself, but he said, "What is left on your bucket list? What else do you want to do in your life?"
Oh, that's a great question, because it is. I believe, and I will keep working in education. I think that is the dream to Guatemalans, not only Guatemalans, but here too. But I'm focusing there because I believe if we open a lot of education opportunities in Guatemala, these kids don't have to migrate like I did. They don't have to suffer. They don't have to be in prison in Mexico like I did. They don't have to leave the country. If I had the opportunity in there, I will move in here. And so I think education, educate, that way they don't migrate. But not only education, like normal education, education and conservation, education and protect their own country, our own our own country. That is what I wanna work with other groups or nonprofits and there in Guatemala to keep working in the Motagua River. I wanna see that river clean. I wanna see the river full of birds, full of trees, butterflies, and no more trash. That is what I am keep working. And also working in here with the schools, telling my Latino paisanos that we can do it. We can do it together because we don't have to divide. We have to unite. That is gonna be the way. And then don't feel ashamed of your background. Feel proud. Where you coming from? Feel proud. Embrace this new country. Embrace it. Have the two cultures together. It's so rich. And when you have both cultures, just drop whatever is not good in both cultures, because we both have things that we don't like, but we have a lot of things that we like. But one of the things is, believe in yourself. The human brain is amazing. What it can do is just try. You have to try, but I cannot do it. Many give up before they try. So answering the question of Cliff is cleaning the Motagua River, working in education, and keep working in conservation, and hoping that working at the museum, and we keep working in it. And in Guatemala also, the Western Foundation keep working in Guatemala with all of these problems we have in there.
Okay, that's a great answer. So hopefully that you heard all of that, Cliff. Also, Marjorie Rodriguez asked which schools did you go to up here, or maybe even down there too in Guatemala, but what schools did you go to, let's say, up here?
And here I already went to Oxnard College, Ventura College, and Channel Island University.
Where did you get your high school degree?
I went to Hollywood adult school, and then that's what I get there. And then I went to Oxnard College, and I got in the 80s or early 90s, I believe, that I get that ornithology by mail. Remember mail?
From Cornell.
By Cornell. Yeah. I got that from Cornell, and that was
it's by still mail. There. They still offer it.
Oh, they still by mail?
Still offer it. Yeah.
Email, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. By email. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let me look for David has a question. Oh, so David Wishoff asked, of all of the specimens in the collection, do you have a favorite, or maybe even I'm adding maybe a bird species that you love the best too, but he's asking specifically, do you have a favorite specimen in the collection?
I am not supposed to, because all are my babies, all are mine, but really it's just like my kids, all my kids, but you know that I'm a little biased with the quetzal, because it's the Guatemalan national bird, and it's beautiful, and plus it's an endangered species that we are working in it, and so trying to bring back. And so I think I'm guilty. I am biased for the quetzal.
It's a pretty good bird to be biased for. You couldn't have picked like a more beautiful, incredible species. Let's see, I'm gonna say, so Mimi asked, Mimi Damwick, who's one of our, oh yeah, we should say all of our staff is on tonight. Renee, of course, but also Paul Grinrod is in the behind the scenes, and he's our science education coordinator. Jennifer Watson, our finances manager. Mimi Damwick, our curatorial assistant or collections assistant, and also lead social media person. And Shannon Morris is on, another curatorial assistant and research assistant. So Mimi asked, Renee, you've done a lot of field work in the United States and other countries. What is your most memorable field experience? If you could boil it down to one.
Yeah, working in the Amazons when I have an encounter with the headhunters in there, and that is what I never forget. And so that was my last trip to the Amazons, and I didn't want to go back there. So that is what I remember.
You're not going to actually give details?
Oh, well, it's too long to give details, and it will take about 10 minutes to give the details what happened.
Why don't you give the 3-minute synopsis version?
Okay.
Because you can't just say, oh, headhunters, an encounter with headhunters, and then so, okay, sorry, bye. I see people shaking their heads. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Okay, the 2.5-minute version.
Yeah, so a helicopter has to pick us up, and after in 3 months when we have the work in there, but the helicopter didn't show up. Oh, well, no, before that, and so it was a group of people that show up, and then there where we were with the other person, and this person has his hand, and it was infected. It's like, and it has a cut, but it looks green. It has a big hand. They didn't speak Spanish or English. And so when they arrived, so somehow they just shot the hand, and we believe was the chief that they have on the hurt hand. So the other partner, he said, we have to cure this guy. And I said, well, we are not doctors. And so he said, well, otherwise they're gonna cut our head, and they're gonna make the head very small. And that's what he said. And I said, okay, let's do it then, because we have tools to prepare birds in there. So we cut his hand, and with a scalpel, and then with tweezer, we took all the stuff he had in there, and we put pure alcohol in there in the hand, and then we saw it, and we thread the hand. And they left in canoes, and two canoes they have, one where the chief was, and then another one. And so the helicopter was supposed to arrive in a week, and it didn't arrive. And so when we saw the canoe again, and I say, oh my God. And so I told this guy, I say, this guy lost the hand, and so now they're gonna kill us. And so he showed up, but he didn't lose the hand. The hand was better. They were bringing us fruit, and somehow they pushed us to go in the canoes. And so I told him, and I say, look, this guy's gonna eat us. And so he said, shut up. And so and I said, yeah, man. And so they're gonna eat us. And so that's it. I was scared.
Didn't you think they were just feeding you the fruit just to get you so you tasted better?
Yeah, and I told him they will ferment us, and then they're gonna eat us, and they are cannibals. And so he said, "Shut up, you stupid!" And I said, "Yep, but man." And so what? I was scared, and then they took us, and so when we went there, they give us something to drink, and so I said, "Okay, sure," and they give me something, and I feel cool. I mean, my shoulder heavy, and they give me the second drink. And I feel cool, but that was this.
No, don't tell us about don't go into the origins of the drink. That would be the one thing I would suggest. You guys can ask him separately about that one.
I told you.
Just suffice it to say, they gave him a drink that he enjoyed.
I enjoyed. They were chewing something, and there were some women that were.
But you thought you still thought that they were getting you ready to put you in a pot.
Yeah, and what happened is, next day we were in our camp. We didn't know how we arrived. I'm going to cut the other part. So we ended in a camp. And so I thought that because we saved the hand of this guy, that's what I saved our lives. And the helicopter arrived 2 days later, and this guy said, I'm sorry, I forgot about you guys. And so, yeah, I think that was the one that I don't want to repeat. And so after that, I told this guy, I'm not coming back. I'm going to Costa Rica. I'm not in Costa Rica. There are no headhunters, and so yeah. So I decided to go to the work in the waterfalls in Costa Rica, and then in Guatemala I said, no, it's no headhunters, and but I find human heads in Guatemala when I started.
Okay, okay. Now we'll go to another conversation. All right. So let's see. Octavio Cisneros said, Senor René, thank you for your motivational presentation. As a son of a former lustrador, I know how difficult life can be. What is some advice I can give to those with a similar background or to those who would like to pursue an education in the United States?
Yeah, look, it looks hard at the beginning, but it's like it will take time. It won't give the it won't produce at the beginning because sometimes we want to plant a corn and tomorrow to eat corns. It doesn't work that way. You have to plant the seed and not to give up. And education, again, education is the key. Is the key to arrive to your dreams. So I will say that there is gonna be really hard trying to reach your dreams if you don't have an education. It's just keep pushing it. That will be the key. By experience, that's what I say. And put other people like the shoeshine boys as an example that they were able to do it, and tell these people to talk to us, to some of us that we already walk that walk. And so I think just keep pushing the education that is the only way, as my dad said, is the only way to avoid poverty. That's what my dad said.
Maybe you and Octavio could also talk with each other.
Yes, please. And I am open to talk to whoever want to talk, and just contact me, and
okay.
I will be happy to talk to them and tell them. The only thing I can tell them is how I did it, and it's up to them how they want to do it, because I just can tell them how I was able to do it, and so they may get something from that.
So another question from Shannon is, you may have already mentioned this, she came on a little bit later, but she said, how many people were you able to serve with the COVID care packages in Guatemala that you put together?
We got about 500 people. We couldn't get them much. I didn't have the funds to do more than that. It's about 500, 600 people.
It's still people who got some help, who might not have had it otherwise. So thank you for doing that. And Bruce asked, what are some of the next steps for the Rio Motagua? First, he said, thank you very much for sharing your story with us, René. What are some of the next steps for the Rio Motagua that you and the Western Foundation would like to take?
Well, I was supposed to meet with.
Oops, you dropped out a little bit there, René.
Some people in there. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was supposed to meet with some people in there this year, but unfortunately we were not able to. But I keep in contact with the former Minister of the Environment in Guatemala, and so I think he's gonna be the connection that we have to see what else is needed in Guatemala or who is working in there. So I have to reconnect with them and from whoever is working with UNESCO right now, and to see what we can do or how we can work together.
Yeah, maybe I can address this one a little bit too. So because UNESCO is coming in a big way, you know, they really are the largest partner who's going to be helping clean the river. And so we want to try to work with them, yeah, as directly as we can. There are a number of other partners who are working to clean the river. And as well, there are many partners at the 2 universities in Guatemala who study, you know, various aspects of the river. And so we are already partnering with them to a certain extent, but we would just in general like to increase our participation more down there. And so over the next year, 2 years, it's going to be also our push to try to raise funds to be able to work more in Guatemala ourselves, because we've been focusing so much on the Santa Clara River and in our, you know, Southern California region for data collection and such. But we would really like to go back down into Guatemala and have an active research program. René's been doing all of this advocacy for the river on his own, you know, with Western Foundation support, but really he's a one-man band down there in terms of getting attention for the river in the media. And so, but we would really like to shift back to doing more research too, if possible. Although René, I know you'll keep doing interviews and keep trying to bring pressure to bear on the government to continue to clean the river. Because the biggest problem, of course, is that there are not enough wastewater treatment plants in Guatemala, nor are there very many landfills, nor is there trash pickup throughout the country to speak of, maybe just in the city of Guatemala. And so there's hundreds of thousands of tons of plastic waste and other trash that flows down into the river every year from Guatemala City, and they don't really have a great way of catching all of it. So there's actually huge amounts of work that need to be done throughout the country to address this problem. But at least now there's attention being paid to it, you know. So that was the first step, because literally, you know, none of the governments in the last 20 years had been paying attention to it till René started to advertise this and really push it on whenever he was being interviewed. So yeah, so there's a lot of places where various organizations could get involved, Bruce. Okay, there is another comment from Arlene Garrido. She said that she wanted to share that her dad, thank you for your story, René. She said, I wanted to share that my dad grew up close to the Rio Motagua in Morales, Guatemala. And let's see, there's another question. I want to make sure I go back up to get this from Emily Gonzalez. Did I missed it? Oh, so Emily Gonzalez said hello, my name is Emily. I'm from Channel Islands University. Have you ever thought about teaching ecology at a university?
Nope.
But you have taught in Guatemala. You do teach when you go to Guatemala.
In Guatemala, when I go to Guatemala, and we do it in the local universities in there, but as just my trips to Guatemala, I never get any classroom that I go every weekend. There is just when I go there, and also we took students to the field and there in Guatemala. But that's all I can say about university. But yeah, the truth is no.
I think never say never, René.
No. I was asking if I ever thought, and I said no, I didn't think. But
but now you will.
That's an idea, and so I never thought about that.
So Heather Medvitz asked, can you do anything, or can you do anything with the risk of COVID this year? And I assume she means kind of whether it's in Guatemala or here, were we able to do anything?
Well, myself, I'm being given this kind of talks, and so also I was part of a conservation, they call diplomado in Guatemala, that they were talking, oh, they have classes about conservation. And so I'm being a part, I was invited to this talk. So everything was by Zoom that I'm doing, but I'm being in contact with Guatemala, Argentina, those places, and given different kinds of talks. And so, for example, the 11, I want to give a talk about the quetzal, talking about what birds I like, about the quetzal conservation. And so, yeah, that no physical, but
You also were in the field though here.
oh, in the field, yeah, yeah, that's right. I was in the field from April to August, and I working in the field because I was working by myself and there, so I wasn't working with anybody else, and so I was able to conduct this project about the Lisbel Vireo and here in Santa Clara River.
Yeah, we actually got quite a lot of field work done. We ran 8 projects this summer that were all considered to be, you know, necessary and that couldn't be done at other times because this is when the birds are here breeding, you know, is from April to roughly August or so. So we were allowed to get out and conduct that field work. Lisbel's Vireo projects, restoration, monitoring various restoration efforts on the Santa Clara River, bird monitoring on the Channel Islands, bird monitoring in the Santa Monica Mountains, you know, several of those projects with the Nature Conservancy, with Stillwater Sciences, with UC Santa Barbara, the Santa Clara River Conservancy, the National Park Service. So we actually got a lot of work done. It was just an odd time period because we had to work a little differently than we normally would, but we were fortunate to be able, for the museum's sake, to be able to get out and do some work. But these are challenging times, folks, and you know, this is serious business, this pandemic, and just because we were able to work, we're certainly not making light of it. It was these are very, very tough times for so many people, and we really do hope that you're all as well as you can be and that you're holding up. And as I said in the beginning, all of my staff wishes you peace and hope and, you know, everything else good for this fall and heading into the winter. I will relate a couple more comments, Renee, and then I think we'll probably wrap up unless there's a big overarching question that somebody wants to ask. But Joel Gonzalez said, growing up, what did you want to be before you found out you wanted to work with biology?
Growing up, and I was just concentrated in surviving because I really didn't believe in I have a big dreams, but I was just surviving, and so I want to go back to my little village, and so I believe and I think I want to be a biologist because that's just what I want to do. I want to go back to nature, but most of all, I really when you are hungry surviving in the street of third world country, it's not that much to what you want to be. It's just how can you survive that day?
Yeah.
But I want to go to school. That is what it was in my mind, that I want to go to school because I hear when I was cleaning shoes, and I hear these people that they said, oh, my kid went to college, or I went to college. And so I was wondering how college was. And so if I ever was able to, because I want to go, because my dad always said, education, mijo, education. And so, yeah, that's what I thought. I just want to survive, really, the truth.
Yeah. All right. So just a couple more comments then. Audrey Martinez said, thank you for sharing your inspirational story of perseverance, Renee.
Thank you.
Other people also had kind of similar comments, and we will save these chat comments because they're very sweet. Many people thanked you for the presentation. And I wanted to read one comment in particular from Marjorie Rodriguez, who, when you were talking about educate, not migrate, she said, great point. We need to strengthen our own Latin countries. And she said, and yes, we need to unite and empower each other. And so I just wanted to say those, speak those comments to you at the end here, Renee.
Yeah,
because I
because
know those would matter to you.
I believe that that the wall we need to build is the wall of education. That is what is going to stop our people coming in here. That way, we don't looking for jobs. We don't looking for opportunities. If we build the wall of education.
Well, I think all my friends, I think we'll probably leave it at that now for tonight. That was a beautiful way to end, I think.
Thank you very much.
I love that we can see most of you, because we can see you clap and we can see you smile. It's very nice.
Thank you.
It's very nice. There's something about just seeing people's faces. Boy, does it help. And I'm sorry we didn't unmute all of you, although we could actually like unmute everybody all now, but I'm not good enough to know how to do it. So I'm going to say good night and wish all of you well. Maybe by the next seminar, we'll have figured out how we can all just kind of have our microphones on and we can all just talk. So much love to everybody. Be well.
And good luck.
Take care. Okay. Vote.
Yes, good night. Vote.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, Stephen and Gina. It's nice to see you guys. It's very nice to see you sitting there on the couch together. It's very nice.
Oh, it's open participation, Linnea. You opened it up. Somebody did.
Did I? Oh, somebody did. Okay. I think we're gonna go ahead and close it out so that Renee can go rest his throat after talking for an hour and a half. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Renee, if you'll stay for just 1 second, and Paul and Jennifer. Bye, Heather.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Heather. Oh, good. Bye. Hello, sweetie. How are you doing, Heather? How are you doing, Heather? Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah.
You're okay?
Yeah, staying safe. My grandchildren were here for a visit from Wisconsin. They drove.
Oh my.
They were here for 10 days. They left this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice that you had them though, and everybody, you felt safe.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they haven't been around anybody and we hadn't, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's really nice.